All right, so welcome to another episode of...
Mr. and Mrs. Magera's Shenanigans.
Ooh, I like that, shenanigans.
It's kind of fun, but I mean, it's not... You're supposed to be teaching me.
Yeah, so
maybe
it has
that's supposed
nothing to do with the video, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know.
That's all right.
But it's a nighttime. It's 9 p.m. tonight, but it's early when you guys are watching this.
Possibly, yes.
So put down those phones. Ooh. It's insanely sweet, and I knew that it was. It's not time.
Put your tea away.
Sorry.
Yeah, so Chinese government. That's what we'll be talking about today.
Don't know anything about this, so I am ready to learn.
That's good. Let's get you some knowledge in that noggin.
Get some learning. Get some knowledge.
All right. The Chinese bureaucracy. Okay, that's a tough word to say. I mess it up a lot.
What does it mean?
Even though I know bureaucracy. Well, that's a good question. So bureaucracy. Well, let me start at the beginning.
Oh, sorry.
So
it wasn't
China had a bunch of dynasties, if you guys remember. We talked about the Han Dynasty before. And these dynasties were basically...
The guy who killed his brother?
No,
that's Han. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, Han Dynasty. Yeah.
Different.
And these dynasties basically meant there was an emperor in charge, and it was hereditary, and they'd have a long line until their line died off, and then a new dynasty would take over, and they'd be the new emperors. Well, they had a problem, because they had trouble trying to get... they had such a large country, and they just didn't have enough people to govern over it, because China's huge, and there's like millions of people. So they came up with a system, a system of bureaucracy. And a bureaucracy is basically when different officials help you administer. So they basically go out and they would do the lower level parts of the job. They make sure that...
so it's a bureaucracy is a part of a bigger government.
Yeah, and usually there's like different steps. So maybe when you go to the government office, you meet with some low-lying employee, and who has a boss above him, who's a boss above him, who has a boss above him, who has a boss above him, whose boss might be the emperor. So it's like that. It's like a layer.
So it's like the American version of a DMV.
Yes,
but I don't know what the Surinamese version of that would be.
I don't know, but any
it's
sort of government
driver's
office.
license.
Yes. So anything like that, where there's basically a layer. Think of layer cake bureaucracy. Okay.
Cool. I love cake.
So basically, but the big question that China had to answer is, who are these officials going to be, though? Who are we going to have be these officials in our government that are going to help get things done?
Don't tell me.
Should it be the poor people? Should it be the rich people? Should it be the people who are strong, athletic? Should it be the popular kids? Should it be the dumb kids? Like, who should be the ones that do this?
The dumb kids. Who thought that?
Yeah, well, they didn't think that, which is good. All right, so the first, oops, move. There it is. All right, so the first bureaucracies they had aristocrats.
Oh, like the movie.
That's Aristocats.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's based on this idea. And these were basically the rich people, okay, the rich aristocrats. And they would work as officials. So if you were born from a nice family that had a lot of money and a lot of wealth, they would let you go ahead and then you could become an official, work in the bureaucracy of the government. However, some of them were obviously bad at their job, right? Just because you're born rich doesn't mean you're smart or good at good at work or know anything.
Heard that.
And also, a lot of them were very corrupt because a lot of times they worked in the same area their family does. So, right, if I'm become the officials of taxation for this county and my family works there, I'm like, pshaw, my family doesn't get taxed. In fact, I'm going to take some of this tax money from Mr. Schmuck over there and put it in my own pocket. See?
So there's no reason. Oh, my word.
Yeah, they became
I don't know what they became. Just
Cuban.
Then.
Not Cuban. Chicagoan. That's what I was trying to say. Chicago.
Not Cuban. Not at all. He meant Chicagoan.
Chicagoan.
That's a city.
Yeah.
And not even a correct term.
Spanish accent, anyways. So the Han Dynasty would be the first to try something different, though. The Han Dynasty is like, you know what? Instead of having these rich people work for us as our officials, we're going to find someone new. And do you know who they choose?
I hope smart people.
They do choose smart people. And they try a system called meritocracy. And you see the keyword meritocracy? What's the keyword in there, Mrs.
Merit.
Merit, yes. So doing things with merit. So
being crazy.
No.
Just kidding.
Meritocracy. So basically this means that people were smart, were able to get government jobs. And so they come up with a system called the civil service exams. And these exams, basically, you had a huge test. They'd be tested on poetry, tested on what you know about history, tested on philosophy.
And
Confucius, yes, that was huge. And you'd be tested on these ideas. And we'll talk more about these later on with the class. But you tested on these ideas, and if you passed, you got a government job. And these tests were very, very hard. Like, if you passed one of these tests, you were like the man of the hour. Like,
I hate to spoil it, but Mrs. Magera's tea is on this test, so I know some stuff about this test.
Okay, well that's exciting because we're almost at tea time.
Ooh.
So this test, it should say not yeah. This tea it should say would continue, not would continue to the next Chinese dynasty after the Han. So the Han started, it would continue, and it reached its peak in the Song dynasty because the Songs let even poor people take the test. Before it's kind of like richer people can only take the test, but the Song dynasty says anyone can take the test.
Because they just want the smartest.
Yeah, the
so they don't care if you're rich, poor, cool.
Once again, they weren't tested
Song.
on math or anything like that. We'll talk about more about that. So this creates a meritocracy. And that, of course, brings us to our T on the test.
T on the test.
The civil service
the
T.
civil service T test.
Mm-hmm.
It's nighttime, so I don't have my iced tea. What do I have, Mr. Magera?
You have apple cider and a fish
I have
mug.
apple cider, which is a beverage that we usually drink in the fall in America. Mrs. Bulwark gave me this. Just so you know. Anyway, not the mug, the cider. That's not important though. So to the tea. This test, I hate to say it because I say it about everything, but this test was low-key shady. Yeah, shady.
I feel like you say
Shady. Super shady.
Shady. You know what I got? You say this because you say this so much often. I brought an umbrella. Woo! For every time you say shady, we'll now be in shade. How awesome is that?
Some people think this is bad luck that you opened it inside.
It's also broken, so I think that takes
it is.
Away. Yeah.
Oh, how sad.
It's all right. It's all right. So now tell us about our shade. This is awesome.
So the test is sort of shady, okay? Because it is. That cannot take you seriously with this umbrella.
No, you need to take a shade.
Okay.
Every time you say shady now, you say it way too much. It's a great way to discourage it.
You don't like it?
Oh, no, I think it's cute.
Okay, anyway. So this test is shady because what they would do is these tests sometimes would take days, from what I read, is that they would take days. And say, I can't take it seriously. They would make them take them in these cells. I don't know if every dynasty did this, but some of them did. They would make them take them in this cell, and they had to do everything in there, like eat, like sleep, all of it they had to do in there. All the other stuff they had to do in these things. And also there was some cheating that happened. Did you know this?
Yes, I did know. They found some evidence of like little cheat cards that people held in their hands.
They put it in their
pocketbooks.
linens.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they found
Because they wore robes also, and they would like write it in the robe. They write in the robe. But this is the shady part. So you have to study really, really hard for this test, right?
Yeah.
And the people who didn't pass the test, guess what they ended up doing?
What?
They ended up becoming teachers to teach other people how to take the test. Yeah. That's not shady.
You know what also they did? To show that they were
you
a scholar.
You weren't shocked enough.
I knew that already, so that's fine. But it's good shade. But they would also grow out their fingernails, and they would never cut it. Because if you had cut fingernails, that means that you were a worker. But if you were a scholar and you studied your whole life, you wouldn't have fingernails.
This is so sweet.
So they would be like 3 feet long fingernails off these people.
Disgusting.
It is disgusting.
I do not like that.
But it would be like a show of pride.
Okay, but
studying for this test.
Are you really like over the fact that like these people couldn't pass the test, so they taught? Is that where the saying "if you can't do, teach" came from?
No, I think that's a very insulting.
It would be like you going to school and you failed, right? And then you became the teacher.
I know, but these people still studied, so they're smart. Maybe they should have tested.
No, but they didn't. But I still think it's really weird.
Anyways, from under here, that was tea time with Mr.
That's
Mrs.
the
Magera.
tea. That's
Bye,
the
guys.
cider.